thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Review It Man, reviewing what he can. Movies are his jam, so let's get twisted, man. It's Review It Rob.
Hey yo, welcome into a brand new episode of the Review It Rob Show. Appreciate you stopping by to hang out. As we're talking this week, we've got a horror movie to talk about on this week's episode, man. Been looking at the film Tarot, or Tarot, as it was explained in the movie. Pretty funny bit. So we'll be talking about that, spoiler free, of course, as well. Got a little bit of news to go over this week. Kind of a slow week in news around the movie realms, but got some news nonetheless, man. So appreciate you again joining in. Let's go ahead and jump into this film. Again, Tarot is rated PG-13. And it is rated PG-13 for drug content, bloody images, horror violence, some strong language, and terror. The film is now playing in theaters, and it is a horror, mystery, thriller film. That's the trifecta of awesome. And it runs in at 1 hour and 32 minutes. The movie follows a group of friends recklessly violating the sacred rule of tarot readings. Never use someone else's deck. They unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with the fate that was selected by them through their cards, and end up in a race against death to escape the future foretold in their readings. Rotten Tomatoes critics gave it a 12. Yowza, 12%, while the audience is sitting at a 59%, much more favorable than that 12, and IMDb has it split right in the middle at a 5 out of 10. So, what were my thoughts on the film? So I had two experiences going into this movie. I obviously saw the trailer for a while, going to the theaters and seeing other horror films, and they always played this trailer. It seemed like before every single one of them. And every time I saw it, I'm like, all right, this looks interesting enough. We're using tarot cards, or tarot cards, as I called them then, because I didn't know. But they're using these cards, and they're going to unleash this evil spirit that's based off of the cards and the fortune told. I was like, okay, cool, get it. Interesting idea, interesting concept. We get to the day of going to see the movie, and I saw some reviews. I don't purposely look up reviews of films. I just don't do that. If I'm going to watch a movie, I'm going to watch it. And I just saw them while scrolling, and saw one after another just tearing this movie apart. Like, this movie's terrible. It's does nothing with the short amount of time that it is. The creatures aren't even in the movie. Yada 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 yada. I'm like, dang. Apparently, I'm going to see one of the not just worst horror films of the year, but one of the worst movies of the year by far. That's what it seemed like going into this movie. You get there, and I'm gonna be honest with you. 1 hour, 32 minutes. Breeze of a watch. It does not take that long, and it honestly, as far as for me in watching it, kept me intrigued the whole time. Kept me interested the length of the film itself. So let's jump into some things. Again, spoiler free as always when I review things. So the idea we have already gone over, and so it's a Final Destination-y 13 Ghost-ish kind of movie, if you will, if you've seen those two films. Because, the 13 Ghost aspect, if you've seen 13 Ghosts, there's 13 ghosts in the house. If you've seen Final Destination, you get the idea. They tempted fate, and now they're racing throughout the rest of the film to get away from fate. It's pretty much how this movie plays out and works. It works like those two movies put together, if you will. Conceptually, if you will. So, I like the idea of it. I like what they did with the film. I like how each one of them has their own situation that they're going to be up against, so that gives you the opportunity for multiple creatures in the movie and all that stuff. Like, again, the 13 Ghost aspect. So, I like how all that plays out. I like how it all worked. I think the creatures looked good. The reviews and stuff is saying the creatures aren't in the movie or barely in the movie. I think the amount of time spent with them was perfectly fine to me. Like, I think what they were used for, how they were used was good, creepy. They look really good, and good scares from them. Mostly jump scare-ish type of scares, but still good, creepy vibes from them. So creature-wise, I had no problems there. Just to get that out of the way. But I mean, right from the start of the movie starts off fine. It's a group of friends hanging out around a camp area, if you will, just doing a campish kind of hangout kind of vibe. Not at a camp, obviously, but just like, you know, that vibe I'm talking about, sitting around like a fire, just talking the shiz and all that stuff. So, you know, it's that idea. It goes from there. We get into the tarot cards readings and from all that stuff. It is a horror mystery thriller film. There is comedy in the film that is done mostly through our boy from the Spider-Man films. His name's escaping me from, but the newer Spider-Man movies. Not obviously Tom Holland, but oh god, what is his name? Cast, give me the cast. Jacob Batalon. He is in this film, and he provides most of the comedic aspects in it, and he's hilarious. Like anything I've seen him in, he is pretty funny. He does a good job in this movie and all that stuff. So it's not necessarily a horror comedy film, but you do get comedy aspects in it. But yeah, it's a quick watch. It's a quick watch. It's an interesting watch. Kept me entertained the whole time I was watching it. I like the concept of the movie. Again, the creatures are cool and all that stuff. If there's something to pull out of the film that I wasn't overly excited about, I don't like being negative or anything like that, but the dialogue, rough. You know, the dialogue can be a little rough and a little ridiculous at points, but I mean, that's gonna happen. But overall, this is like one of those horror films for me that's just like, shut off your head, sit down, watch a fun little entertaining horror movie kind of aspect, man. You can just sit down. It's not hard to understand. It's not hard to follow. It has a easy feel to it. It's a fun time from start to finish as far as I was concerned. So overall, I liked it, and I would gladly watch this movie again, especially Halloween season. If we're doing like how many movies can I fit in 30 days kind of deal, I will gladly watch it again. I'll gladly watch it again on a random day. Like I honestly had a good time with it. Like, and I don't. It's nothing new for me to have completely different vibes with movies that other people have had. You know, again, huge DC fan here. I've loved and enjoyed the DC movies. A lot of people hate them. I love the 2017 Mummy film. A lot of people hate it. I like the Power Rangers 2017 film. A lot of people hate it. You know, it's just, I love the Flash last year. People hate it. It's just, it's one of those things we're never gonna be. I don't base what I like off of other people telling me what to like kind of deal. Like if I enjoy it, I enjoy it, and I had a good time with this movie. Like I don't get the reviews that have come out about it and all that stuff. I think it's a fun idea. The creatures are cool, the scares work, the atmosphere works, the mystery is fun, the thriller is fun, and all that stuff. Like, so I don't overly fully understand where they get it. But hey, to each their own. We're all allowed to have our own thoughts, especially when it comes to movies. So good on them there. But if fun, friend get together horror movie watch, as far as I'm concerned. So there you go. That's Tarot. If you saw it over the weekend, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But overall, for me, I say check it out. Jump into news real quick. Before I do that, I did see The Fall Guy last week. I'm not going to have an episode for it because we did cover it on this week's Thrill Me Weekly, or last week's Thrill Me Weekly. On the latest episode of Thrill Me Weekly, we did talk, Brooke, Zach, and myself, we got together, did the Thrill Me Weekly, and we all got to see Fall Guy last week, and we all gave our thoughts on it on there. So go check that out. You can see all of our thoughts on The Fall Guy. But on here, tell you very quickly, absolutely fun, fantastic movie. Go see it in theaters. It's where it deserves to be seen. And it's awesome. See that movie. If you want more thoughts on it, though, check out Throw Me Weekly. We also went over some news things, so not too much news on this episode because we covered a lot of it. Just quick beats here. Mike Flanagan is rumored to be the new director for the next Exorcist film, the film franchise. That, again, I said it on that show. I'll say it here. I love The Exorcist Believer last year. I had a great time with that movie. It's another one of those movies that I enjoy that a lot of people haven't. But I mean, my brother enjoyed it. He's not a huge horror fan. He enjoyed that movie. And there's other people in the world that enjoyed that film as well, but for some reason it gets crapped on. I think it's people just hating on David Gordon Green. But David Gordon Green wasn't going to do the next movie anyways. That was already in the plans. And then after the film didn't do too well, they've decided to go into a different route and start messing around with things. And one of the things that has now come out is that Mike Flanagan is rumored to be the next director for an Exorcist film. So we give our thoughts about that on Throw Me Weekly, so check it out over there. Other news, The Pope's Exorcist, the film starring Russell Crowe, not to be confused with The Exorcism, the film starring Russell Crowe that's coming out this year. The Pope's Exorcist is officially getting a sequel. That has officially been announced. If you saw The Pope's Exorcist, I saw that last year as well. Had a really good time with that movie. I'm glad they're doing a sequel to it. And The Exorcism, starring Russell Crowe, looks really good as well. So if you want to check those movies out, go check them out. I definitely plan on checking out The Exorcism later this year when that drops. But other than that, not much news really happening this week. I mean, the other bit of news here we have is that a new live action Scooby-Doo is in the works. This will be a live action series over at Netflix. It'll be from Greg Berlanti and Warner Brothers Television. Berlanti, of course, mostly known for the work he's done on the CW, DC shows like Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, that stuff. They called it the Berlanti verse. He is behind this with Warner Brothers Television. It is said to be more of a drama than, I guess, it just says it's going to be more of a dramatic approach. So I guess they're referring to the live action Scooby-Doo movies that were not overly dramatic. It had its moments, but those were more lighthearted and comical. I like the idea of being more serious with the Scooby-Doo aspect. I mean, I grew up with Scooby-Doo, so Scooby-Doo needs its comedy, right? There's some comedy aspects that are fun with Scooby-Doo stuff, and I'm sure the show will have it as well, even though there's billed as like a drama. That's the only information we have. We don't have too much other information going on at the moment, but I like it. It's cool to see Scooby-Doo back. Like I mentioned, I grew up watching Scooby-Doo. Where Are You, Scooby-Doo? I watched that Scooby-Doo where you had all the special guest characters like the Harlem Globetrotters or Batman and Robin and stuff like this. I'm aging myself right now, but it's worth it, man. I had a good childhood with the stuff I was able to watch. Good childhood stuff I was able to watch at least, and fun times, man. And just Scooby-Doo's always cool. It's cool to see that character come back. I mean, I think we had. I don't know the last time we had what Scoob, I think, was something that happened a couple years ago. But I don't remember the last time we had like a Scooby-Doo Be-Doo, thing release. So, hey, more power to them. It's gonna be over there on Netflix, easy access for them. I guess they're trying to get into this vibe, right? Stranger Things is going away after season 5, so they're gonna need some things to come in and those having popular characters come in. They have Wednesday. Wednesday was a big success for them. Season 2 of that show will be coming soon. So Scooby Doo could fit like a Wednesday vibe, I think. Teens running around solving mysteries with a dog. Why not? I mean, that's fun times could be had without a doubt. So go check that out for sure. Scooby Doo, no idea when that is happening, but that is in the works over there on the Netflix board of things. Is there really nothing else to talk about? DC wise, there is nothing to really talk about. We're just waiting for any and everything to come out. Hopefully, we'll get some more stuff DCU wise at some point. But still, he's working. James Gunn's working on Superman right now. We'll just wait for that. We have Joker coming out later this year. But other than that, Peacemaker has started production. But that's we've all talked about these things already on the show, so we're just waiting for that. There is another Arkham game coming out, but unfortunately it's not going to be one of those fun Arkham games. It's going to be more like a VR thing. Arkham VR game, Arkham new game, whatever the heck this thing's called. Arkham, Batman Arkham Shadow. It's going to be like a VR kind of deal, I think. Yeah, Quest 3. It's MetaQuest 3. So it's a VR thing, so that sucks. I would hope for more of a just straight up freaking another Arkham video game. But what can you do, man? What can you do? At least, there's games out there for people to play. And the people who like Quest, whatever that thing is, more power to you. Have a great time. But there's nothing really here for me to go on off of that. So I'm going to go on them for that. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any other news, man. Kind of a very, very eventful week news-wise. Fall Guys #1 at the box office. Phantom Menace came in at #2. That's a discussion to have right there because these re-release films are doing good business, man. Any news at all? No, not really. Nothing. Paramount has put in an offer to buy Sony, so see where that ends up going. yeah, man, nothing else really news-wise going on. So that's gonna do it for the show. Pretty quick, brief episode. I don't know why I said that twice, but kind of like tarot, man. Quick, good from the finish, good to the end. At least I'll say my show's good at the finish, to good to the end. But hey, you know, why not? Somebody's got to build the show up, and I will gladly do that. Be on the lookout. I will have some special things coming soon. Hopefully, I am planning on doing some Patreon content with the Nightmare on Review It Street show, where I do some fun horror franchise looks. The last one I did was Black Christmas during Christmas time, and I have a couple ideas brewing over there for some more specials, man. So be on the lookout for that. But as for this episode, that is it. Next week should be Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the Planet of the Apes movie that's coming out next week. War of the Planet of the Apes. War, oh, no, not War, that was 2017. Rise of the Planet of the Apes? Nope, that's not it. What is the Planet of the Apes movie coming out next week? Somebody help me. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, there we go. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes should be in theaters next week, and that will more than likely be next week's review. Yes, May 8th. So that'll be more than likely next week's review, unless we all end up seeing it and then talking it on Throw Me weekly. Then I will find something else to review. Don't worry. But nonetheless, man, appreciate you joining in and let's do this show. I am a goofball who just has a fun time talking movie stuff, and I appreciate you sitting here with me and then spending your time with me. So that is very much appreciated. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. Be awesome, celebrate yourself, be nicer to yourself, and always remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light.